Money.
Yeah, good morning. This is Tea or Coffee. Welcome to another episode. You know, this saying keeps coming to my mind: work like you don't need money, love like you never been hurt, dance like nobody's watching. And that is what we encourage you to do on Tea or Coffee, to live your life to its fullness. And we are here to guide you through that. My name is Ronke Ashiru. Welcome on Tea or Coffee, and as usual, for the past how many days now?
Yes.
I have the beautiful.
Thank you.
Yes, what do I call it? Because the first time I saw you, I thought of, wow. I thought of the Cinderella, the eyes.
Funny enough,
I thought
I've
of
had
Mulan.
a lot of people, compare me with comic characters.
Yes.
Like, one said Jasmine.
Yes,
Okay.
and Jasmine, yes. You look so much like that. The
eyes,
and
I
all
know.
that.
Thank you so much for the compliment.
Welcome on Tea
Thank
or
you.
Coffee.
Thank you. Welcome to. How was your night?
Oh, wonderful. Thank God. Yesterday was good. We talked about starting the Monday,
Yes.
with kicking the Monday blues away. Yes. This program actually helped me too because, I was kind of feeling maybe down. Maybe I'm thinking,
Yesterday morning.
yeah, it's Monday, and I didn't have enough rest on Sunday, and now I'm gonna wake up early on Monday. But with the
And then you started with a positive spirit.
yes,
And I'm sure you had you did everything you were supposed to do.
I did everything.
You ticked all your to-do list.
I did. tick.
Okay.
And Tuesday is the most productive day of the week. That's what we say. So that's why Tuesday is an entrepreneurial.
We talk about business.
So
if you are going to pick a business to do aside being a presenter, what would you do?
Always filmmaking.
I just knew you were going to move into the movie industry.
I love movies. I love to watch movies.
So what's your favorite movie that you've seen so far?
Hey, that I've seen up to 10,000 times. Climb every mountain.
Okay.
Sound of Music.
Not familiar. Oh, yes. I grew up watching that movie, Sound of Music. And I just like the fact that the children and the captain, the way they sing, Maria was my favorite character in that movie. I'm sure she just added color to the movie. Itself, yes.
And actually, that made her... that made her a superstar. That movie actually brought her out though she was popular before the movie, but with that movie, she became a mega star. And the fact that it was actually inspired by true life events. So
yes, true life story.
So it's anytime I watch it, even before I got to know that I was inspired. So when I realized it was inspired, I Googled search and all that to know more about
Once I hear Adia, the first thing that comes to my mind is Sound of Music.
Of course.
The song still stays. I'm sure if you pick a line without finishing it, someone would know that, okay, you're referring to Sound of Music.
Exactly.
And music
the
has
female
to do
deer
with the
and
soul
all that.
and all,
Yes.
And that is why we would be talking about the comic actor that died. Or it was so sad when I saw it because
Stan Lee.
If you are familiar with Marvel Studio comic characters, Spider-Man, Black Panther, they just came out.
All of them.
Avengers, all of them. If you are familiar with these characters, then the brain behind it died yesterday.
Yes. I don't know, but sometimes it's like, can you just keep the brain?
I know.
And
I just got to know this morning that for every of the movies he created, he actually featured in the movie.
Yes, but
and I'm like,
he doesn't want to be
yes, he
right
does
there.
that in passing. And I'm like, okay, it was this morning I was reminded that in Infinity War, he featured as an old man. In that every of his movie, you would see him, he represents himself in a comic character, but I didn't pay attention. I've never had to pay attention to that. My focus is usually on the main character of the movie. It's either Spider-Man or
Iron
Avengers.
Man,
They brought all of them together.
Captain America.
Captain
all
America,
of them.
and everyone has their favorite. Just like I asked you now, who was your favorite? What was your favorite?
X-Men, Thor. You know,
All
there's
of
so
them.
much.
And I am sure if you're going to ask anyone that is familiar, they would have their favorite comic character. For me, Captain America.
Why Captain
is
America?
I just like the way he speaks. Second, he's, I don't know, he's funny. The way he acts and his mannerism is quite funny to me. But most people actually feel that Spider-Man because of the way he talks and he moves. This moment he's here, the next moment he's up there
I
at
guess,
the ceiling
and maybe
trying to save someone.
because when you talk is the most featured. You have all the Spider-Man, you know,
Different
ones,
parts of-
part 1, 2, 3, and all that. While the others, you
Once
know,
in a while,
once in a
yeah.
while, not as
But
you
one
know.
thing is, they actually have a movie of their own.
Yes.
Spider-Man has its own.
Yes.
Captain America was out also. Then I think he sat down to put all of them together, and that was
For
what
the Avengers.
gave birth to Avengers
Yes.
Infinity War. That had everyone.
Everyone.
Before the movie was out, I mean, everyone kept talking about it to the point that I had to tell myself that, no, I must not miss this. And it came out like today. The following day, I went straight to the cinemas to watch it. And even though later the movie now came out for download, and a friend of mine was like, you see, now I can download it. I didn't have to go to cinemas to watch it.
Then we need to arrest our friend.
I know. But, but then,
you know,
because I'm
I
a
told
fan,
you that
that's my
if,
little way of
if I'm not
supporting.
doing this, I'd rather be a movie, a filmmaker. And then I imagine after putting so much work, then somebody
Then-
would just sit somewhere
and
and
would
just
be
press
able to watch.
download. I'll scream.
But then, for the fact that you even want to watch the movie, and because there are some
Yes.
movies that are produced and merely looking at it, you don't even want to
You don't
open
even
it
wanna
or
go
check
there.
what it is at all.
Yes.
People don't speak of it. But before the movie was out, everyone started talking about it. Why? Because there was already a follow-up
Yes.
of Captain America, people watching their different parts.
Yes.
Now imagine bringing those
All of
characters
them together.
Now that would interest people. They would want
of
to
course.
watch. And that is one thing I keep saying about content creation in the movie industry. You
Yes.
have to, you know, put in your best when it comes to developing your content and putting it out there. You have to put in your best and all that you can do. And I don't know, I hear a lot of people say, okay, I've heard conversations and arguments of Hollywood better than Nollywood. I'm like, okay. And there are times I just want to engage in such conversation just to hear people's opinion and what they think, what is wrong, because we stand for change, you know. We stand to correct the wrongs and not just keep pointing fingers at
Yes,
people.
yes.
So I've tried to like engage myself in such conversation and then hear things like, Hollywood movies produce high budget movies and Nollywood low budget. And you're like, I have seen Nollywood movies whereby they spend so much in producing the movie and it comes out great. So, like, and another thing I heard someone say is that, no, Nollywood movies, they always like to put their name, like,
Directed by Ronke,
directed by this,
acted
this.
by the
At times,
Ronke.
they make the movie title their name, Emeka and Sons. Emeka went to the bush, things like that. But I feel we've actually upgraded, you know, up from being
Yes,
Emeka and Sons
but
to...
actually, my opinion, I feel that we are not doing right by comparing the two.
Yes.
I really don't think there's any basis for comparison. If a movie, you want to show a movie, you want to work on a movie, and then your budget is $20 million for a movie, and then you're comparing it with somebody that would spend 2 million naira
On a movie.
on a movie. 2 million naira, how much is that? Maybe like $3,000, $5,000 to somebody that spent 20 million. You know, I believe it's not fair to compare because there are other, you watch some movies that are not Hollywood movies, that are just American movies, British movie, and you will want to
They're
throw.
not so there.
They're not there at all. The, what's it called? The CGI is bad. The
And funny enough,
film
they make it
the
seem like
storyline.
they're so perfect.
yeah,
But
and
then
it's not fair.
But then, if you watch movie reviews, people who do movie reviews, I have seen errors. I don't mean error.
I do
have
too.
seen
I do.
errors that happen during the movie. Like, for instance, there was a particular movie I watched. I can't remember the name now, but there was the first scene. I think they shot it different days or something. The first scene, the girl was putting on a gold wig, and then the next time we'd see her talking to the guy she was talking at the same scene, she was wearing another color of wig. I'm like, but then it was in a flash. You could
Yes.
not even tell that
It happens
something
all
was
the
wrong
time.
until I saw
Even
the movie
for
review.
animation, one of the biggest animation, I could show you, at least the one I saw, I could show you 10 mistakes. Somebody was walking beside a transparent, transparent, like a mirror.
Okay.
And then you are seeing the face. The person is walking sideways, but you are seeing the face.
The face, wow.
So in other words, they just copied the face that they're saying and pasted it on the wall so that it moves. You understand?
But because it's Hollywood,
Yes,
but
and
then
aside-
Nollywood, everyone is talking about
And aside
it.
from that, you know, Hollywood, it's not all the films in America. It's not all the film in the US. Hollywood is a particular type of movie. It's high budget movies. But we call everything, plus the one we made with 2 naira, plus the one we made with 10 million,
everything
we call
together.
them Nollywood.
Nollywood.
So you can't really compare, and because you can't watch a 2 naira movie, just being funny here by saying 2 naira, there's no movie that you can
Yes,
make with 2
for
naira.
2
You
naira.
can't watch a low budget movie and then compare it with,
I mean, and
you know,
most of these
it's not
Hollywood
fair.
movies, they are planned for a long period of time. I've heard people say it took them 10 years to
Yes.
produce a particular
Yes.
movie. So you don't just compare people. And I like the fact that Nollywood were, stepping up
But we're
a lot.
stepping up. We're really
Because
doing a good
look
job.
at Genevieve's movie that was featured on Netflix, Lionheart. I mean, they're doing amazingly well. They're Nollywood movies that once they're out, everyone is talking about it. Everyone wants to go and see it in the cinemas. And I like the fact that they're beginning to do international collaborations, even with other people from other countries.
It's actually a big market for us here. And yes, they will keep doing a good job. Like, yes, we
Yes.
talk about Stanley now, rest in peace. But I just wonder, the brain, they should do something about it. Am I being weird here? Okay,
No.
before that, let's just move on because but rest in peace, Stanley. He died,
Yes.
Stanley, he died
Yesterday,
age 95.
95, at the age of 95.
Yes, so he lived a good life.
Yes,
That's it.
definitely. To the point of 95 years.
Yes,
I mean,
he lived a good life.
a lot of people would, like, if you ask someone, when do you want to die? I'm like, me? 150. I'm like, okay.
Okay.
I wish you all the best.
Yes.
But it's
That's all.
possible. It depends on how you take care of yourself and
I'm
How-
yet to see the ones that they won't carry outside in the afternoon. That they will want the sun, so that no.
no.
When that person becomes vegetable, what's the
What is
essence
remaining?
of?
Yes,
But anyway,
exactly.
it's your call.
Depends on
It depends
who you
on
are
you,
and your
yes.
personality. Okay, so that would take us to our topic for today.
No, before then, let's celebrate University of Ibadan.
Oh,
at
yes.
70.
Congratulations. I mean, everyone is
Yes.
talking about it on social media platforms. I mean, alumni of University of Ibadan putting it on the social media. I'm proud to be, and that is another lesson that is teaching me. Wherever you come out from, be proud of who you are. Don't join people to, I'm sure there are things or wrong things or bad things to say about University of Ibadan, but these people, they've chosen to, stand and be proud of the fact that they are a graduate
wouldn't they be
of
proud?
University of Ibadan.
The first university in Nigeria.
Premier University,
Premier
they like to
University.
boast in that. The
University,
Premier
of course.
of Nigeria. And don't forget, Ibadan is also the largest city in West Africa.
Yes.
And imagine the city on its own is the largest city in West Africa. Then adding the fact that the university there was the first university. Wow. Yes,
So-
kudos and congratulations to every graduate, everyone in
Exactly.
university. I think their
That 70
convocation
years is still standing.
and their convocation is ongoing. So congratulations to everyone. University of Ibadan. I know I didn't graduate from University of Ibadan, but then I am super proud because it's in Nigeria, and this is part of, I like to
And
say,
actually,
this
to
is
say
part
the
of
fact
things
is
that
one
could
of the best.
rebrand,
Yes, in
the
Nigeria.
image in Nigeria. So
Yeah.
when we have things like this and we keep talking about them, then we can have a good story. We can reshape and change the image of us out there. Congratulations to University of Ibadan. Yes, from us on Tea or Coffee. But then we need to go at a short break. When we come back, yes, we'll have our guest in the studio and the show would start fully as we would be talking about filmmaking. Make sure you don't miss that. Just stay tuned.
I met her in 1985. We got married in 1988. So we had like 3 years of courtship.
He can do feminine chores. I don't mean washing plates or whatever. He can come back from outside. He has gone to the market. He's bought meat, tomato, everything I need in the kitchen to cook. I said, go to the kitchen, I got some things. He would do this. Many men would not like to go to the market.
Well, I was in England and I got a message from her. And that message made me love her. Well, it was an exam result, and I didn't do too well before I left for England.
Oh, when the father died, and I wrote him a letter of condolence, he started writing letters asking me, and I wasn't even sure whether I wanted to say yes. And I was dodging the question. I replied the letter, but I was dodging that question for a while. And this musician was singing at that time, fire, 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 get on. And they said this musician should stop singing that song. Maybe that was the cause of the outbreaks. So I told him that story. He said, that is not what I'm asking.
Hello everyone, I'm delighted to welcome you and be your host on another exciting episode of Legends. Contribute in our own little quota, in any way we can, to the development of our society. I'm still your host, Victoria.
Exclusive to High Impact Television.
Angels from the realms of glory, wing your flight over all the
Have a season of family adventure this holiday. High Impact Planet. Fun just got real.
Jeg skal bli pappa, da.
Så bra, eller?
Ja, det går fint.
Hei, du har kommet til Tove. Jeg kan dessverre ikke ta telefonen akkurat nå, men legg igjen en beskjed.
Ja, jeg vet ikke hva jeg gjør.
Ok, nå kommer vi da.
Ja,
Jeg har ringt, og jeg har fødebrev. Kan jeg slippe den først? Et lite øyeblikk, så må vi ta en av gangen her.
Nei, men det, du kan ikke vel stå.
Veldig bra. Puster du deg rolig gjennom redet. Puster riktig.
Jeg skal finne noe som du kan klemme. Jeg skal finne...
Meg? Hvem er det som er jeg som skal ha gjort det? Men det er noen som har gjort det.
Ja, men det er ikke henne. Så hvis vi skal være veldig, veldig pirkete, så er det faktisk deg.
Du kan sitte for meg.
A vigorous
soap opera about two lovers fighting against the relentless fate that opposes them in the haste of murder, lies, betrayal, and secrets of those who claim to love them. Silvia and Bruno Lombardo will do whatever it takes to get rid of anyone who interferes with their plans. The paths of Mia and Alberto cross under a devastating storm. Right there between the tempest, a love that will provide a strong reason to go on will arise. Oriana Roldan is between Mia and Alberto, a renowned bullfighter with a psychopathic personality, willing to do anything to regain Alberto's love, because souls looking for each other cannot be stopped in the middle of so much love.
Weekends on High Impact Television.
Everyone's dreaming of being the biggest pop star on the planet. But today, for them, the center of the universe is right here.
A flowing river. But what does it take to stop that mighty flow? A stone? Or perhaps a little girl with a heart of stone named Aliyah. It's nice music, isn't it?
I love you!
I'm your life, you're mine. I want your eyes. I make you master of it.
Everything started to go wrong from the very first deal.
Mr. Mike loves blondes.
He had $500,000 in his pocket.
All this for a girl? Big mistake.
It's 30 million. Let me see it.
Hey, let's see the money.
From that point on, I shut down. There was no room for love in my new life.
You said you had everything under control.
Boss, don't kill me! I fucking read it!
It's going to be difficult. They'll find us, no matter where we go.
If I told you anything, I'd be screwed. And if you're going to screw me, I'd expect you to buy me dinner first.
I'll show you what a real Kazakh chateau police feels like.
You could be my prince, and the whole world will have to follow our orders.
Jump.
The Gardener's Daughter. Luisa Fernanda suffers a life-changing accident. She was hit by the car that Luis Fernando, her father, was driving. At the hospital where she is being taken care of, Luisa Fernanda meets Carlos Eduardo, and they immediately fall in love. Luisa Fernanda will fight for the love of Carlos Eduardo because her heart is pure and noble. The Gardener's Daughter.
Weekdays on High Impact Television.
Morena. A couple of days before getting married, she finds Oscar, her fiancé, cheating on her. Morena escapes from her pain by traveling away from her life to a beautiful place in the jungle. There, she meets Leo, the man who saves her from a jaguar attack. Due to a photograph in the bag that Morena had lost, Leo realizes he is not who he thought he was. So he travels to the city to find out about his real origins, not aware that he belongs to the Sireños, a wealthy and powerful family. Leo gets involved in the murder of Morena's grandfather by Aldo Sireño, so they will have to overcome the barriers that will emerge in their lives, so they can live their passion. Morine.
Weekdays on High Impact Television.
It is either hot or warm. I'm sure you're wondering what I'm talking about. Yes, tea or coffee on High Impact Television. Nice. Welcome back from that short break. You know, before we went on the break, we're talking about filmmaking and Nollywood at large. Yes? Stained our cup.
That's the idea of when you use a cup.
Yes, okay. So
And
we
a
were
lipstick.
talking about filmmaking. Now, I don't know when, if you noticed the difference, because a lot of people actually, it depends on your mindset. Some people hear Nollywood and look at it as, okay, just the Igbo tribe, the people who speak Igbo. And some people hear Nollywood, they feel, okay, it's the Yoruba part of it that is Nollywood. Some people hear, I even hear of Kallywood for Hausa people.
Yes, Hausa.
And where would they have to separate them from because I feel everyone, whatever tribe you are, everyone together, they can be classified as Nollywood. I see no reason why you should bring out a particular tribe and then give it the term Kallywood, and you bring out the rest and classify them as Nollywood.
Anyway, even for the fact that I don't even like the name in the first instance, but that's my own. I remember when the name emerged, and we're like, Nollywood.
Kallywood.
No, Nollywood.
Nollywood.
Why Nollywood? Hollywood is a town. That's why, you know.
It was coined as Hollywood.
Yeah, so where is the wood?
Oh, well, I think they just wanted
so,
to...
and then we now have the Gollywood, the Kallywood.
Everything
and
is wood.
Even for Ghanaians, they don't like the word Gollywood.
Yes, they don't.
They said they don't want it. I don't know if right now. So, like you were saying, it reminds me of the AMA Award when we went to Rwanda.
Kigali.
Yeah, Kigali in Rwanda. You know, there was a time when we were supposed to go on a tour. We're in the bus, and majority of the people there were speaking Igbo.
Igbo, yes.
They was, conversing.
I realized that,
and they, as if we were expected to speak that language.
You know, I was speaking with Bolade because we went for breakfast at some point, and then there was a particular table where they all gathered and all they were speaking was Igbo. So I told Bolade, I said, okay, you know what? We can't be left out. Let's speak Yoruba, because I didn't understand what they were talking about, and there was no way we could, mix up with them because we wouldn't understand what they're saying. But majority of them, and I'm like, okay, this award is meant to be for Africa generally, for Nollywood. I understand that some people represented from South Africa, some people represented from different
part of the
world. But then
for Nigeria,
it was mainly, or most people that came were Igbos, or from the Igbo side. And I'm like, this is Nollywood we're talking about. There has to be unity. There's this popular saying that people just keep saying, but do not understand the gravity of that word. United we stand. And if we are together as one, now, for instance, imagine if you have to sweep this place now, and then you just pick just one stick to sweep, it would not give you the result you want. But when you have a bunch of it, then you can achieve that result. So there are some things that you come together, because if you're going to separate, this is Kallywood, okay, this is for the Igbo people.
So what is Nollywood? If we have Kallywood, so is Nollywood for Yoruba and Igbo, or just Igbo?
That is what I'm saying. Because
you know what I'm talking about.
You can ask someone now, okay, what is your idea of Nollywood? And the next thing you would hear is, okay, Yoruba movies, that is Nollywood. But then there's a lot more to it. I mean, I've seen movies where Yoruba actors actually act in the movie and they speak English fluently. And you wouldn't even tell that, okay, this person majors in, Yoruba movies. But then even the acting and all, you cannot tell that this person majors in Yoruba movies. So why separate when we can all come together and everybody can contribute and what they have in their minds put together? And that is the reason why, when you have a best team, when you put people together and you have the best team, it would help you achieve a lot. Imagine if you, okay, fine, you major in, acting in Yoruba movies, but then you have the money to probably support my movie. And I am not, maybe I act in Igbo movies or Hausa movies, and you have the money to support me. Now, before you drop your money, the first thing you think of is how it would benefit you. That's because we are not working together as a team. You would first of all look at it that, okay, we are not in the same category. You do Yoruba movies, I major in English movies, so why should I help you? What if your movie is not something everyone is talking about? What would I stand to gain? Which is not supposed to be. There should be this team spirit.
Was there any award for, like, Hollywood?
No,
there?
no.
Or other?
I can't remember anyone from Hollywood or the Yoruba side getting any award. I mean, I saw Kunle Afolayan. I saw Seun Ajayi.
He was part of the judges.
He was part of the judge. He just came to like support people. But then I feel people like that. I mean, when you watch Kunle Afolayan's movies, you can tell that this man is intelligent. He knows what he's doing, especially his content. There is always a message he's passing across in every of his movies. And I think he is more of the historical kind of person. So this is someone that should actually be respected. At least, even if they do not get awards, I mean, you should give them this respect and talk about it. That during the award night, they were talking about movies, Nollywood as a whole, and I didn't hear them mention any actor from the Yoruba side or Hausa. It kept on going on the Igbo people. And if I was someone that read meaning to things a lot, I would feel they are being tribalistic, or the Igbo people pay them money to do that. But then it's not so. Probably they deserve those awards, but then still show some respect to even the Yoruba culture also. Because everyone, whether you like it or not, everyone makes up the country. Yes. When you hear Nigeria, the first 3 tribes that comes to your mind is Yoruba, Igbo, and Hausa. Those are our major tribes. Not to talk of the rest of the tribes
and
that we have.
we are supposed to actually work.
Work together and stand together.
Yes. And the good thing is that we have a guest in the house who is a filmmaker and will shed more light on this particular topic. This is Tea or Coffee, and we'll be right back in a bit.
I met her in 1985. We got married in 1988. So we had like 3 years of courtship.
He can do feminine chores. I don't mean washing plates or whatever. He can come back from outside. He has gone to the market. He's bought meat, tomato, everything I need in the kitchen to cook. I said, go to the kitchen, I got some things. He will do this. Many men would not like to go to the market.
Well, I was in England and I got a message from her. And that message made me love her. Well, it was an exam result, and I didn't do too well before I left for England.
Oh, when the father died and I wrote him a letter of condolence, he started writing letters asking me, and I wasn't even sure whether I wanted to say yes. And I was dodging the question. I replied the letter, but I was dodging that question for a while. And this musician was singing at that time, fire, 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 get on. And they said this musician should stop singing that song. Maybe that was the cause of the outbreaks. So I told him that story. He said, that is not what I'm asking.
Angels from the realms of glory, wing your flight over all the earth.
Have a season of family adventure this holiday. High Impact Planet. Fun just got real.
Welcome back. It's still Tea or Coffee on High Impact Television. Wherever you're watching us from all over the world, welcome. Yes, definitely. We are talking about filmmaking. You know, Ronke and I, we've tried to, in our opinion, you know, talk about Nollywood as a whole. But then we have our guest in the studio who would elaborate on the topic. Yes, he goes by the name Victor Ohai. He is a producer, scriptwriter, director, cinematographer,
everything.
Fixer, freelance journalist, and logistic provider for major international film companies, co-founder of the Directors Guild of Nigeria. He has produced and directed several documentaries, movies, and television series locally and internationally. You know, I could go on and on and on.
Yes.
Strange too.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
And I'm really, really eager to start.
Well,
because before we went on break, we were talking about the name Nollywood.
Yes.
So let's start from there. Why do we have Nollywood and then we have Hollywood?
Well, I know that a lot of people are conflicted. Actually, listening, I was hearing the confusion as to which one can be called Nollywood. Is it the Igbo? For me, Nollywood is the generic term, or whether it's not just for me, but that's what it has become, the generic term for African cinema. You know, there's always been the conflict as to what constitutes African cinema. Permit me to say, is it, you know, there are various segments in Africa generally. You have the Lusophone, that's the Portuguese speaking, Francophone, Anglophone, Arabophone, and Anglophone. And what is it that binds us all together? What exactly is African cinema? Is it cinema by Africans and for Africans, or cinema shot in Africa, like by foreigners, or is it? You see, so there's that conflict.
Yes.
But by the grace and power of digital cinema, because that gave us access, you know, before now, films used to be shot on film, and the Francophone were dominant because they had funding from France, and so a lot of the cinema that came from there, they would usually call African cinema, but was it authentically African cinema?
Okay.
I mean, who really says, because there are gatekeepers, you know? They also set agenda. They sit down in France, determine what African cinema is, because they determine what script should be funded, okay? And then determine what stories are truly African stories. Is it when we wear rags and are in the bushes that that's African cinema? But with digital video came some sort of what I would call democratization of filmmaking, in the sense that we had access. Anybody could make films, cheaply too.
Yes.
And Nigeria led the way. It was a disruption. That innovation brought disruption in the industry. And so what resulted from that is now people could tell authentic stories. And what kind of stories? What you remember Tales by Moonlight, the kind of stories our parents told us. And you know what? The kind of gist that you have when people say, have you heard they say that person's mother is a witch? They did, those kind of things that captivate us.
Yes.
The stories we tell, that we tell among ourselves, so we started telling those stories, okay? And don't let anybody tell you that our stories are witchcraft. What's this famous English film? What's it called now?
The book that's
yes, the book. I've forgotten the book name now. It's
how can I forget?
Witchcraft. It's glorified witchcraft. Very popular.
Yeah, how can I forget that?
We'll probably remember.
Harry Potter. Harry Potter. It's nothing but glorified Igbo witchcraft. That's precisely what it is. You understand what I'm saying? And yet we tell it in our way, and then people look at it, oh, this is primitive and all that. But you see, what we simply did was tell our own stories. And to tell you how successful it is, it doesn't matter that it is done in Nigeria and probably in English, or even in Igbo, Yoruba, or Hausa.
Yes.
It resonates well with the Congolese Francophone audience, okay? It resonates well in Zimbabwe. It resonates well in Burkina Faso. When they watch these films, they see themselves in it. They understand, they can see their aunties in it, they can see their uncles in it, you know what I mean? And so for once, we have been able to tell the authentic African story. And just so you know, Hollywood has run out of stories. They've started Wakanda, what's the name of that movie now?
Black Panther.
Black Panther.
Exactly. So it sold like no man's business. You know that. It broke all records. Now, a lot of stories are being told now based on African. So it tells you that we're the authentic storytellers. We don't need to be ashamed about our stories or about
image out there.
So what we have, what Nollywood represents, just to get back to the listener, what Nollywood represents is the authentic African story. It's authentic African cinema. The world has come to terms with it. The world recognizes it. Whether we, as Africans or as Nigerians, celebrate it or not, the truth is that it has come to stay. You can call it Collywood, you can call it...
So why do we have different names, Reed?
Well, people just, people can call whatever they want to call. It's okay maybe to show what aspect of Nollywood it is. You can call it whatever you want to call it. But whatever name you call it is to distinguish. The Cameroonian Anglophone section call themselves Collywood. Kannywood is the one from Kano in Hausa language. In Rwanda, you were talking about Rwanda. They call theirs, is it I can't remember if it's I can't remember the name now, but there's a name they call it also.
For their movies.
So it's like that. So call it whatever wood you want to call it. We have Bollywood, we have Hollywood. It's fine. But the truth is, the model of all the cinemas that you see from Africa was pioneered and defined by Nollywood. Okay? Which is why you say Ghanaian film, you still call it Nollywood, whether you like it or not. So right now, it's not about the origin of the word or where it comes from, but what it symbolizes and what it stands for.
Okay, so, we're talking about filmmaking. And in 2007, you were invited by the German embassy in Abuja to deliver a paper on the role of arts, film, and politics in Nigeria. Tell us about that paper.
Oh, yes. See, I was watching just last night, someone sent to me from South Africa music of Fela. I don't want to mention names here. I don't want to get political. But, Fela was like a prophet. As artists, we are the mirror of society, the voice of society. In ancient times, the only person who had a right, the only person who had any right at all to look a king in the face and call him a fool and the king will laugh was a court jester. You know that? The only way the king could hear the truth was through the court jester, because everybody around him, in the courtyard, everybody was like, oh, king, long may you live. They were full of sycophants. Nobody could tell the king the truth. And so the court jester was, was the authentic street voice that could tell him exactly what the feelings of the people were. And so art represents, whether it is visual arts or performing arts, it represents the authentic voice and conscience of a people. And there's got to be a marriage of both for there to be stability in society. As actors or as filmmakers or as poets or as artists, we reflect and mirror the feelings of society. Musicians will sing either to correct or to say what the people truly feel. And as I said, as a conscience, what you find is that art therefore represents that balancing part. Like you talk about journalism as being the fourth estate of the realm. They're supposed to be like the conscience of the people, which means they're supposed to reflect. Art is in that form, in the sense that with art, we can mirror society. With art, we can correct society and politicians. With art, we can capture in time and space a period in society. You can only know what happened now when you look back, at the stories of now, the films of now, the literature of now. if you look at what's it called now, Half of a Yellow Sun,
Yes.
it captured a period in time
Yes.
in our history.
Yes.
That's literature, which is
Yes.
art, okay? Photographs. What happened at Ojota some years back, those photographs, there are
Yes.
people who captured them,
Yes.
you know? That is a reflection of the time. So there's got to be a marriage of the two for there to be some sort of balance in society. So, and so when I was given the opportunity to deliver that paper, I tried to draw an analogy from, you know, the various art forms, visual, oral, how do I put it now, performing, you know, to talk about how over the years, you know, art has contributed
shaping the society.
to our political, has enriched our political space. You recall, let me say this quickly.
All right.
In the 50s or the early 60s, you may have heard about something like, there's the late Hubert Ogunde.
Yes.
He was like a conscience at the time. There was this play he wrote then, Yoruba Ronu.
Yoruba, yes.
Yes. I don't know if you remember
I
it.
know,
You
I
know,
remember.
when things were going on the way they were in the Western region and all that, it took him and his group to be able to sensitize, you know, particularly the Western region. That was the period of Operation Wet here.
Yeah.
You know, when they were destroying themselves. Yoruba Ronu, you're both Yorubas, but for the benefit of our viewers, it's like
Yes.
Yorubas think, you know. So he made them, he mirrored, you know, society, he provoked thoughts through his performances. And in a way, it was some sort of healing for society.
The society.
Yes.
And even till now, a lot
Yes.
of people, they play it. And
Yes.
it's one thing about art or filmmaking,
Yes.
arts in general,
general, yes.
is that it's, you can freeze it in time.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's there,
Yes.
100 years to come,
Yes.
it's there.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about you.
Yes.
You're a director, a producer, and all that. What's your forte?
When you say what's my forte, I have the misfortune, if you like, of being able to do nearly everything. I'm also a trainer. So I started the first, and it's still the oldest, private film school in the country.
Wow.
It's not a mass production school, but we just concentrate on, you know. So for me, maybe you want to ask, what do I enjoy doing?
Yeah, most.
Because looking at his profile, he has a lot he has done. So
And
what,
I'm wondering,
out of all of
wow.
this,
And
what
even
exactly?
a co-founder of the Directors Guild.
Guild of Nigeria, yes. You would think that maybe I'll enjoy directing, but of course I do, and I do it very well. As a matter of fact, one of my short films, I did that film with Uzo Ewela. That's the writer of Beasts of No Nation.
No Nation. Okay.
No, it's a Beast of what's that movie now with Idris Elba? Yeah,
Beast of No Nation.
Yes,
Yeah.
Beast of No Nation. Exactly. That was on Netflix as well. And then Funa Maduka, 3 of us. Very short film on it's called Waiting for Hasana that we did on the Chibok girls.
Okay.
10-minute film. But that film qualified for the Oscars, the last Oscars.
Wow.
The only thing is we didn't get a nomination. To qualify for the Oscars, there are many rules.
Yes,
One of them is you must win at an Oscar qualifying festival. And we won at Riveron. And then, I mean, it's been all over the world. It's a short piece. The only place we've not really shown him much is back home.
Oh, of course.
in
That's what
Nigeria.
happens most of the time. And
You know?
I
So,
know.
but you see, and I took on a role, though I was a producer also in the movie, and Funa she had a directorial debut in it, while Uzo and I as well were co-producers.
That's good.
But I took on the role of cinematographer.
Okay.
I enjoy creating, you know, painting with the camera. I'm sure your cameraman will look at me and they'll be surprised. This guy doesn't look like he can touch a camera. But I love it. I do things with the camera. I mean, like I often say to people, what you see it's not what the camera takes, it's what the cinematographer sees.
Yes.
And so I can take a picture of you, still photograph, and you'll be amazed. 2 people will come, take the same picture, but you'll look completely different. What you see is what I see. I enjoy cinematography. I enjoy it. I mean, I've been to places where people say, oh God, what are you doing with, but they don't understand. I get a thrill from it. I enjoy it because I can do things with the camera. I love it. I love it. I just love capturing images with it. So if you ask me what I enjoy, not really forte because or whatever, I do everything. I like to think that I write very well, that I direct, I produce, you'll be surprised, I do makeup as well. Three-dimensional makeup.
Excuse me, what did you say?
I do makeup. On a particular set, and I can mention names here. On a particular set, I made a monster image. An actress, I'll mention her name, Barbara Soki, who was on that same set.
Yeah.
She didn't know what was coming. She came out, and when she saw what I created, she fainted. That was the end of production that day. I mentioned this on public television.
Wow.
Okay? She couldn't, it's so realistic. I could create a scar on you, and you will look at it, it's on you, but you almost start feeling the pain.
Wow.
Is that real? I did, with Creolan, it's a German makeup company, leading makeup companies. I trained with them, so I'm able to. So, but I'm just saying, I do so many things.
Because these are entrepreneurial days. Tuesdays we're always bringing entrepreneurs.
Okay.
Were you able to learn all this, or you trained by yourself? Because imagine going to school to learn production, how to produce, directing, cinematography, makeup.
I could do that before I went to formal film school. I went to UCLA, University of California, Los Angeles. I did film there. But, well before, and I've trained in so many places. I've been trained by the BBC, by Deutsche Welle. I've gone, NAFT in Ghana, the film school in Ghana as well. So I've had all sorts of trainings, But the thing is, it was first of all a passion. I grew up in Jos.
Okay.
And Jos was, growing up, that was, that's where television started in Ibadan, but it matured in Jos.
Yeah.
The first color television station, the film school is there. The first color television station in Africa was in Jos. Under Dr. Gege Salama, then he was the GM, he was an Egyptian. He set very high standards. And Jos, for me, when I was growing up, when I looked at the hills and all that, I imagined myself that, those were the days of Westerns, we watch Western movies, the cowboy movies. And Jos has the same topography as Los Angeles. You go, if you're in Jos, it's like you could have been in Beverly Hills, you could have been in Los Angeles. The same topography, the same, and even the same weather, So I imagined myself in those days, shooting movies, even as a kid. I grew up, as a matter of fact, then, I was, anyway, let me not go into all that, but I grew up literally in television there. So it was always something I was going to do. My father tried to make me do other things. I tried to please him, but I always knew I was going to come back to doing this. So it's been my life, So it's something that comes naturally with me, but also it's important to get trained so that you understand
the rudiments.
Yes, the rudiments, and then you can apply them more effectively. So, so like I say, my curse is knowing how to do so many things.
Okay.
I'm doing them well.
I don't know. No, it's a problem. Sometimes it's better to just concentrate. I say it's a curse because, you see, now you say you want to concentrate on this, and then something comes up, an opportunity comes, you go there. So people, if they're looking for one person in a particular, would I be the first name to be mentioned? Maybe not, because I'm everywhere. So perhaps it's the reason I'm not yet as rich as what's his name now, Microsoft, Bill Gates.
Yeah.
I would have thought that with the gifts I have, I should be. But
you have fulfillment. You found fulfillment.
I find joy doing what I do. I enjoy it. I could do it for free. I enjoy it. It's my life.
Yes.
So
all right,
we have a lot of questions. People are
yes, we have a lot of questions from our viewers.
They're sending questions?
Yeah. But we can take everything because of our time. But let me take this one
for the next edition.
Okay, exactly. Okay, let me take this one from Fred, Lagos. He says, the equipment is important in the production.
Yes.
Do we have the right kind of equipment in Nollywood and personnel to operate them?
I will say this to you. As much as equipment are important, I think the skill set is much more important. I could take your phone and do stuff with it, and you'll be amazed. The equipment enhances what you know. It doesn't replace, or it doesn't act in place of the person. It's important that we get that right, because the thing is like in film school, people say, initially I used to have that issue. People say, what equipment do you have in your film school? I look at them and I laugh, because it's not, for cinematography, for instance, it's about understanding the principles. And then, because these things change every day, new technology comes. But if you understand the principles, the basics, composition, about exposure, about lighting, about, all the things that you need to know. When you pick up any camera, you just look at it, you know where to go to. You already know what to do. You understand what I'm saying? So it's not so much about equipment. So when you pick up a piece of equipment, it then becomes a tool in the hands of a master, okay? Otherwise, it becomes a very expensive toy. You know what I mean? And so when I see people who are chasing latest equipment and all of that, I look at them. There are films that are shot with cameras that were made. I mean, film cameras, for instance, have remained standard all these years. And so you can see a film camera, I'm talking about film now, not digital video, that is 20 years old, and you pick it up and you make beautiful films with it. So it's not so much that as much as who is behind it, okay? Of course, there are things that come up, there are new enhancements that come up, and you apply them, you get lenses that, can take in more light, for instance, and you get that, and so because we are in the digital space right now, you want more color space, and all of that. So you look at those things that will enhance them more. So there's room for it. Don't get me wrong; it's very important to have good equipment. But do we have adequate equipment in this country? Quite frankly, we have. We do have. And it's just to make the most of what we have. You'll be amazed at what we have. Even in terms of lighting. You go to Jungle, for instance, he has lights that have astounded people abroad. Many people from
social media and
yes,
infotech.
They don't
social
have,
media has,
okay, exactly. So what are we quarreling about? You have a great studio here. You can do stuff here. I look at the facilities that you have. I'm amazed. And so for anyone who is still thinking about looking outside,
then the other part of the question, he says, do we have personnel? Do we have personnel that could handle this?
We do.
Okay.
If we care to look for them. The thing is to sit down and ask. There are people that are trained, well trained, in the best art and tradition of filmmaking. I just told you a short film we made, qualified for the Oscars. We beat so many others. We're in Sundance, we're in all the festivals. To get into Sundance is a big deal. Over 10,000 entries in a year, and then to get selected among the few, it's not, and it was a wholly Nigerian crew. You understand what I'm saying? So it's not about that. We have 1 minute more. If we care to look for them.
We have 1 minute more, and I have a lot of questions, so I'm just going to read two, and you will just answer. Eloho from Benin says, where does technicality ends and creativity begins? And then Vincent says that, do we have enough money? Do you have to have enough money to make movies? Much money to make movies.
Money helps your movie making, but it's not money. Money is not everything that you need to make a good film. From your script, I know we don't have time, but I'll just say this. You can determine your budget from your script. Okay, you can tell a good story in one location. You don't have to fly, you don't have to do visual. The most important thing you need, the most important product you need for your filmmaking is a good script. A great director will not make a great film out of a bad script. Start with a great script, and then your budget is also from that script. Technique and what she said, I'm sorry, I can't say it.
Technical ability.
Where does technique stop?
Where does the technical ability end, and where does the art of film begin? The art of creativity in film begin?
Well, for want of what to say right now, I say it starts and ends with you.
That ends with you, because we need to go. You have to come back. We are not even pleading this time around, because we have lots of questions. They need to be answered. So thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, it was a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Yes. This is all we can take on today's episode. They are sending us out of the studio right now. And we got to go. Thank you very much for coming. And hope to see you very, very soon, because we need to speak more. So, till tomorrow, enjoy the rest of the day. I'm Ronke Ashiru.
And I am Raola Popola. Do have a good day.